For every second that passes, about 2 people die on Earth. If I asked you what caused their death, you may suggest an accident, maybe an illness, or a peaceful death while sleeping due to old age. But I am sure dancing won't occur to you as a probable cause for somebody's death. Well, in 1518, that's exactly what happened. 400 people danced themselves to death. So let's understand what exactly happened here, who was behind it, and why did it even happen. This is Frau Trophea, a young housewife who lived in Strasbourg under the Holy Roman Empire, which is now a part of France. On a hot morning in July 1518, Trophea took to the streets with an inexplicable urge to dance. People on the street were surprised to see a young, healthy woman passionately move her body to a beat. But they couldn't hear any music, and I'm sure the concept of earphones did not exist about 500 years ago. They watched a woman who would not, or rather could not stop. Just like you would not leave this video without liking and subscribing. In a week's time, she wasn't alone. Many people joined her. And now it was a dance party of about 30 people who were bopping to a beat only they could hear. By August, this number had grown to hundreds of people, who were largely undaunted by the body's warning signs like pain and hunger. It wasn't like these people were enjoying the dancing and having a good time. They were in pain, crying and screaming for help. This soon grew into a full-grown crisis that the city council had no idea how to manage. The council gave up authority to local physicians in hopes that they could understand and cure whatever was causing these people to dance involuntarily. With no explanation for the phenomenon, the physicians blamed it on hot blood. They explained that due to overheating of blood, the brain overheats, which in turn causes madness. The only method to deal with hot blood? Bloodletting, which is the practice of withdrawing blood from an individual's veins. Well, as bizarre as it may sound, what else do you expect from the doctors in 1518? However, bloodletting wasn't a viable option. These people were involuntarily dancing and using surgical knives on them. I don't think that would have been the best idea. The physicians then decided that the show must go on and believed that dancing would cool down the blood. In fact, professional musicians and dancers were brought in by the city council to accompany the patients. Of course, it went south. There's no way this decision wouldn't have backfired. Passers-by who were healthy misperceived the gatherings to be fun and started joining these supposed dance parties to shake their hips. Soon enough, the involuntary dancers started to die from exhaustion and cardiac arrests. The city council realized that organizing a dance party wasn't the best solution to the problem. They banned dancing and singing, and it was concluded that only direct divine intervention could cause such a serious situation. All those infected with the dancing mania were loaded up in wagons and transported far away from the main city to a Christian saint, Saint Vitus's shrine. Saint Vitus was martyred as a 13-year-old in the year 303. The tormentors tossed him into boiling lead and tar. The legend has it that Vitus emerged unharmed from this cruel act. He had a reputation for treating illnesses, especially relating to trembling limbs and limping knees. Now it makes sense why the suffering people were brought to Saint Vitus's shrine. According to them, either Vitus was punishing them for their sins by making them dance uncontrollably, or whatever was making them dance uncontrollably could be cured by praying to Vitus. Lo and behold, it worked. The involuntary hip shaking turned into voluntary hip no shaking, and the dance party came to an end. Several distinct theories swirl around the disaster. For example, some scholars suggest that the people contracted ergotism from a fungus in their food, which can cause hallucinations, twitches, and tremors. But this cannot be the case. The dancing was described as coordinated movement rather than twitching or tremors. Others suggest an episode of epilepsy, but that can be disregarded as well. Epilepsy isn't contagious and cannot be transferred. And of course, a group of 400 people couldn't be going through an episode of epilepsy at the same time. The most plausible reasoning for the dance party that wouldn't stop was mass hysteria. Mass hysteria refers to contagious dissociative phenomena that takes place in large groups of people or institutions under conditions of anxiety and stress. Let's take a look at a hypothetical situation to actually understand what this fancy explanation even means. Imagine you are at a sports game and you notice that one person in the crowd suddenly starts to act really scared and worried. They shout, "I think there's a gas leak, I can smell gas." Other people around them hear this and start to look around nervously. Some of them think they also smell gas or start to feel anxious because of the warning. They may begin to share the concern, saying things like, "I think I smell gas too." As more and more people in the crowd react to this, a sense of panic starts to spread. People may begin to run and scream, trying to get away from the imagined gas leak. It's the fear and anxiety spreading from one person to another, creating a situation of mass hysteria. At the time, Strasbourg was a densely populated and highly stressed city, with frequent outbreaks of disease, famine, and social unrest. There were three serious famines in and around Strasbourg between 1492 and 1511. In 1516, a shortage of food led to prices of bread being skyrocketed. In the new year of 1517, another famine struck with terrible force. If this wasn't enough, smallpox and leprosy were on the rise at the same time. This was not an ordinary level of hardship. These were terrible times, even by the grueling standards of the late medieval age. These extreme struggles and hardships took a toll on the psychological well-being of the population of Strasbourg. The high level of stress, combined with the strong religious beliefs of the people, led them to believe that they were under the curse of an entity so powerful that they couldn't control their own bodies. Continuous involuntary dancing for 2 months, involvement of hundreds of people, and then relief finally being felt after visiting St. Vitus's shrine. All of these can be explained by a classic case of mass hysteria. Thanks for joining us today on Curious Case. Stay curious and remember, sometimes the most interesting stories are found in the unlikeliest of places, like here.